followed by everywhere he went, everywhere he was teaching. The crowds that were following him were accumulating more and more, and people were really beginning to, follow him and believe on him more. And along with people believing on him more, you also had the Pharisees and the Jewish leaders going, something's got to happen. This cannot happen. So everybody was beginning to, the leaders were beginning to say, something's got to happen. We've got to stop this man because they're going to come up against us. So there were certain things that were happening. One, the religious leaders in Jerusalem had said, something's got to happen. He's got to die because they're going to start following him instead of us. Judas, as we know now, Judas had already decided because, that was part of God's plan from the beginning. Judas had already decided, okay, I need to go talk to the Jewish leaders here because I'm going to betray. As the Bible says, Satan had entered his heart. So he had already approached the chief priest about, what will you pay me if I betray Jesus? So all this is things that are leading up to the Last Supper. Jesus had already made his triumphal entry into Jerusalem. He had already gone into the temple. And remember, in the temple, there was all kind of evil things going on. They were selling things inside the temple. They had made the temple, just this big marketplace, which the temple was a sacred place. It was a holy place, as any worship place should be. And he went in and just destroyed it and said, no, that's not going to happen. The religious leaders were trying to find anything they could get on him where they had a reason to kill him, or they had a reason to put him to death, to discredit him. And that way they could get the Roman officials to do it, and that way they weren't responsible. If they could discredit him somehow, then their hands wasn't in it. But they never could do that. So they were realizing they were going to have to find other ways, and they were beginning to remember Judas. Now, earlier, Mary had already washed Jesus' feet. And as we all know and we remember, he came in. He had not had his feet washed, as was tradition and custom. So she washed his feet with her tears and dried his feet with her hair. And anointed him with a box of alabaster ointment. And everybody, that was a waste of money. But in preparation, she was preparing him for his burial. Now, if we think back too, Jesus had sent, I talked about the triumphal entry, Jesus had sent 2 of his trusted disciples into a village ahead of him and told him to get a donkey, an ass, and to get one that had never had a man sat upon it. And he gave specific instructions. And when he gave those specific instructions, he told him to go look for a man that was carrying a water pot. And to follow that man and to tell him that the master had need. That the teacher, actually. It was very vague in the directions he gave. When we give people directions, we say, okay, Deacon Holmes, I need you to go to 5440 Altama and walk in the first shop on the right and ask for Sister Linda and tell Sister Linda I want a red velvet cupcake with nuts. And bring it to me. You go to the end of the spur, past Toyota. We're very specific. But Jesus wasn't. And it had a vagueness in it. But it worked. Now, at the meal itself, once they actually get inside where they are eating Passover, there were things that are going on, and we know this because I think a lot of times we think the Passover meal, they go in, they sit down, they eat, it's real quick, they pass the cup, they pass the bread, Judas does his thing and they're out the door. But this was a long meal, because I want you at some point to go back and, I'll give you the scripture in just a moment. I believe it is. It's not, write this down, please. St. John 14 through 16. At some point, I'd like you to just go and read that. That's what's known as the upper room discourse. Jesus was giving them instructions while this meal is going on. And so it's not a quick meal. I know a lot of times at our house, we eat. We usually eat at the breakfast bar. But if we sit at the dining room table, everybody kind of gets up when they're through at different times. But you never sit there too long, even on Thanksgiving and Christmas, because everybody's ready to go take naps. But this meal was a longer meal. So there was a lot of events happening. Jesus had spoke of his betrayer. He spoke of somebody that was going to betray him. But the disciples were so busy discussing, well, is it me? Is it me, Lord? Is it me? Is it going to be me? Well, who's it going to be? And then they got on the subject of, well, who's greater? Is Deacon Holmes greater than me? Who's greater than me? Am I greater than you? So they got off on a tangent. There were several things that Jesus come right out and said. It's the one who dips his hand. He was very specific. Yeah. But they were too busy and too occupied to pay attention to what Jesus said. But like I said, go back and read St. John, because there are so many other things that went on in the upper room that night. So as we get ready to go into the communion part, I want you to think of everything that led up to this. Passover was remembered up until this point. And when the Lord's Supper, or the Last Supper, was introduced, it was kind of shifting. Because up until this, there was the Passover. And then this started, communion started, and the Last Supper was introduced. So it was kind of a shifting of the tide, so to speak. Now, there's a few characteristics about the Last Supper I'd like to point out. The Last Supper was the Last Supper in that it marked the end of one dispensation and the entrance into another. That's what I just said. The age of the new covenant and the anticipated end, which was at the cross, and the end of the old covenant. The Last Supper is unique as it closes one chapter and opens another. The significance of the celebration of the Last Supper, like I just said, it was almost totally missed by the disciples because they were so busy involved in themselves. We can take from that, sometimes we get so busy in conversation that we forget to really hear what's being said. Because when you listen, you may pick out other things. I know the trip this Friday night, we had a lot of conversation going on. I ran my mouth the whole way back. The DJ knows that because when we went before. But I ran my mouth the whole way back. But I hope some of y'all that heard me running my mouth listened and could pick up on things where, I was telling y'all things about me, about my past. I wasn't just running my mouth to run my mouth. I was opening up and telling you stuff about me. So I wasn't just telling you stories. I was letting you in a little bit about me. So you have the opportunity to hear things, but you have to hear. sometimes we don't do that. We kind of, yeah, okay, whatever, go out. And get too busy and too lost in what's going on. And we get too occupied with other things. I think I said, I may have just told Deacon Holmes this. My husband, William, came in, he'd gone to a basketball game. I don't know if I told all of y'all this, I said so much the other night. He'd gone to a basketball game the other night, went to the girls' game. It was $5 to get in. He left, went and got something to eat with his friends, come back to the boys' game, and they wouldn't let him in. He needed $5 more. Well, he come to the house, and he was telling us this, and asked for $5. And I said, I don't have any cash, ask your dad. And we're closer than the wall. And Dad said, or William says, Dad, do you have $5? And he said, what do you need $5 for? So, and he just totally was not engaged in the conversation. He was occupied with other things, his phone. So, you need to kind of, as Pastor says, have one ear listening and one ear not, where you can hear things that are important.
Amen.
The Last Supper was not a glorious occasion. It really wasn't, if you think about it, because Jesus was telling them, look, this is going to be the last time that I partake of this with you. Right. And we can easily look back and say, oh, wow, they really missed it. But had you been sitting at that table, would you have really caught what he was saying? It's easy for us because we've had, a little over 2,000 years to really catch it. But would we have really caught it? This was the last time he was going to do that. It was a time of confusion, They've been walking with Jesus and seeing him perform all these miracles. But wait a minute, he just told me I'm going to be gone. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like, and I don't mean this in any, I'm not comparing Pastor to Jesus in any way. Let me say that up front. But it'd be like, Pastor telling us, okay, this is going to be the last Sunday I preach because I'm never going to see you again. Mm-hmm. I'm gone. Lord told me he's taking me out of here, so you better get the food you need from me now because I'm out of here. Excuse me? What? Do what? I don't think we could really fully comprehend that. Well, what's going to happen here? You wouldn't really understand. Oh yeah, you're kidding, right? The mood was really it may have been uplifted until then, but when he said this is the last time, I'm sure the mood had to change. It had to kind of get gloomy because this is it. He's been telling them, my time is limited, but now it's like, this is the last time. So the mood changed. In spite of how they felt, as I just said, they approached the meal with eagerness. It says, with desire, I have desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer. For I say unto you, I will not any more eat thereof until it be fulfilled in the kingdom of God. The definition of desire in this sense is good pleasure. It implies a gracious purpose or a longing for. Jesus longed to eat the Passover meal with the disciples. He desired it. He wanted to be with the disciples, knowing that it signified the beginning and the ending. And it's all about what Christ has done. It's all about what he was doing. It's all about what his purpose was. And that's what we rejoice in. Not anything we try to add to it. Not the solemnness, not the putting on the robes, not anything else. It's what Christ did. And as we prepare to go into it, that's what we need to have in our mind. We need to remember what Christ did. And may we approach his table as he did, with joy, looking back and come. Now I want everybody to bow your head. We are instructed to have our attitudes a certain way as we come into communion. Paul tells us that the Lord's Supper should not be taken unworthily. It means taking communion with a clear conscience before God.
Amen.
As the song plays, I want each of us, with our eyes closed and no one looking around, to examine ourselves.
Yes.
Make absolutely sure you're sure of your relationship with Christ. Make sure it's authentic, that it's genuine. If you have any unconfessed sin in your life, anything that you haven't gotten straight with Christ, now's the time. Because you don't want anything to hinder you in this sacred time. It's not only a reminder of His brutal death, but it's a celebration of His generous grace and the invaluable privilege of being forgiven. So, if your head's bowed, prepare for that.
Yes. Thank you, Jesus.
Now in this I declare unto you, I praise you not, that you come together not for better, but for the worse. First of all, when you come together as the church, I hear that there be divisions among you, and I partly believe it. But there must be also heresies among you, that they which are approved may be made manifest among you. When you come together, therefore, into one place, this is not to eat the Lord's Supper. For in eating, every one taketh before other his own supper, and one is hungry, and another is drunken. What? Have ye not houses to eat and to drink in? Or despise ye the church of God, and shame them that have not? What shall I say to you? Shall I praise you in this? I praise you not. For I have received of the Lord that which I also delivered unto you, that the Lord Jesus, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread. And when he had given thanks, he brake it, and said, Take, eat, this is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me. After the same manner, he also took the cup, when he had supped, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye, and as often as you drink it, in remembrance of me. For as often as you drink this bread and drink this cup, you do show the Lord's death till he come. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unworthily shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord. But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of that bread and drink of that cup. For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself, not discerning the Lord's body. For this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep. For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged. But when we are judged, we are chastened of the Lord, that we should not be condemned with the world. Wherefore, my brethren, when you come together to eat, tarry one for another, and if any man hunger, let him eat at home. And ye come not together unto condemnation, and the rest will I set in order when I come. Amen. And when he had given thanks, he take it, and he break it, and said, "Take, eat. This is my body, which is broken for you. Do this in remembrance of me." Break and eat. After this same manner, he also took the cup when he had supped, saying, "This cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye as often as ye drink it in remembrance of me." Drink the cup. For as often as ye eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show the Lord's death till he come. You will take your Bibles and turn to 1 Corinthians 11. Yes, please. First Corinthians 11. We're going to start at verse 17. I just have talk to you a few minutes about something that's excuse me. How about the Exodus? Exodus. That was where I was. I'm sorry. Exodus 20. If everybody will stand for the reading of one verse. Exodus 20, verse 7. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. For the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. I want everybody to grab a neighbor and look at your neighbor and say, watch your mouth.
Watch your mouth. Watch your mouth.
Watch your mouth.
Watch your mouth.
Watch your
Mouth.
You may be seated. And yes, this does relate to the rest of the sermon, I promise. Okay, thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. And we all know that. We all know the 10 Commandments. We learned those in Sunday school when we were knee-high to a duck, as my mama used to say. And there were certain things you didn't say. And in relation to that commandment, you sure didn't say that. And in the world we're in now, in this texting world, I can't stand the one that has come up, the OMG. I don't like it. I don't care if it says, oh my goodness, I don't like it. I can't stand it. It irritates me. And I get on to my son, I get on to my daughter. who was 30, by the way, yesterday. She had a very good birthday. I just had to throw that out there. But you do not say that. The very few times I got my head popped, see, I'm the baby. I didn't get in trouble. Should have got in trouble, but I didn't get in trouble. But you let me say something like that, and pop, my mama popped my head. But it wasn't until last night that something hit me about this commandment. And I have to share this because Pastor Johnson, as my mentor, he's told y'all before how he'll be in the office, and there's my office, and another office, and then his office. And I'll hear him go, ooh! I'll be, what? He goes, come here, come here, come here. And he's had this great just word or something. He'll see something, I'm like, ooh, that's good. Or either he'll text me, or he'll, it's just, when he hits it, I'm like, oh wow, I never saw that. So last night, when I saw this, it's about, 8:30? And I text Brother Malcolm, you awake? Yes. So I called him and I said, I got to share this with you. And then it hit me and I heard, that's what Pastor Johnson did with you. So it was really funny. As I went to researching this, it was really interesting. Okay, so here we go. Thou shalt not take. In the Bible program, as he showed you, we can click on interlinear, and it shows us definitions here. And you see it's broken up. Thou shalt not take. And that's how it gives the definitions. Well, I also use blueletterbible.com or .org. It breaks it up a lot also. And that's what I happen to be on. Well, when I went on it, either one of these, it says the definition, don't. Absolutely don't. To lift. To advance. To arise. To bear up. To bring forth. To carry away. Cast. Hold up. Give. Regard. Set up. Swear. Okay, that one falls right in. Or wear. W-E-A-R. Wear. Thou shalt not wear. Wait a minute. Thou shalt not wear the name of the Lord thy God in vain. Okay, hold on. Now let's see what vain means. Okay, because we know what name means. Name is name, fame, report, reputation, or glory. So now, don't wear God's glory in vain. Let's see what vain is. Emptiness, vanity, falsehood, nothingness, or worthlessness. Don't wear God's glory as if it's nothing. So, it's not just saying His name in an ugly way. It's how do you wear His name? Are you wearing it the right way? So if I'm wearing it and I'm saying His name's worth nothing, but on the other hand I'm saying, Jesus, your name has all power, what am I doing? I'm being a hypocrite, you're right. But I have to be careful because I was commanded. Because it says, don't take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. We teach our children that all that means is you don't say that word. But we don't teach them it's how you wear His name. You have to wear His name with the power that comes with it. Because the second half of the verse is, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless. So if he won't hold us guiltless, we all understand that. We're going to account for everything. Sorry. Do I bear his name appropriately by the way I live my life? Okay, so I don't say the wrong word. I don't say that, so I feel as if I've met this commandment. But do I live my life in such that his name reflects the power that it has? Or am I saying God's name is worthless? Am I wearing it the right way? Or am I wearing it in vain? Am I wearing it such that not only can others see it in me, am I wearing his glory right? Am I wearing it for me? Or am I wearing it for him? Okay, when I put on this robe, am I wearing it for me? Or am I wearing it to glorify Christ? When others see me, do they see me? Or do they say, that's a woman of God? Because if they see me, then I can go home. Because everything I do should glorify Christ.
Yes.
We should wear his glory. We should let others see his glory. Don't take the name of the Lord thy God in vain. I'm 51 years old. I was raised in church. I taught Sunday school. I sang in the choir. I did, all of it. I taught training union. How many of y'all remember training union? Did y'all have training union? Or is that a white person thing? Is it? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Training music.
Sunday night church. I'm going to educate y'all. I had to learn what a repass was, so I'm going to educate y'all here. I didn't know what a repass was. Pastor said, are you going to the repass? And I said, what's a repass? So I'm going to educate y'all on what training union is. Training union was Sunday night service. We would have training union like from 5 to 6. It was just like Sunday school, only we called it training union. Okay, now y'all all know what training union is. That's pretty good. I've educated y'all. This is on tape too, that's funny. Okay. Don't even know how I got on training union. But anyway, I taught training union and I did nursery and the whole thing. But I never, knew that commandment went above and beyond that. But he's interested in our behavior.
Amen.
When we're with our kids in Walmart and we snatch them up and want to beat them. Or beat somebody else's kids in Walmart. Are we reflecting him? And I know that's hard because I've had my kids in Walmart and want to snatch them up. And my grandson in Walmart and want to snatch them up. And I know that's hard because you have to come to the correct discipline, but we try to remember, Jesus loved all of them, I just don't have that kind of patience sometimes. He wants us to reflect him, to show his glory. But imagine how God feels. He has all these children. He loves us enough to sacrifice his body for us. So the least we can do is to wear his name correctly. Would you cover that up for me? Please. And along with his identity comes sufficiency. His qualifications, everything that Jesus is. We have to learn to speak with his authority. I think a lot of times we don't do that. It's hard to learn to speak correctly with his authority without offending others. Because a lot of times we come over as harsh when we step into that authority. I speak from experience as a newly ordained minister. It's hard to learn to come into that role and speak in the authority without being harsh and being cruel and being such and such. You have to learn to speak in the authority of Christ without being rude and without being overbearing.
Amen. Amen.
So if I have ever offended anyone, I'm taking the time now to say I'm sorry. But his name carries weight, and we need to learn how to carry his weight. We need to learn to see ourselves the way he sees us. And see what he has in us. Because I say, Lord, I'm full of sin. And he says, but I was crucified to redeem you. I'm unworthy. I'm unworthy. I battle when I have to minister. I battle with, Lord, I am so unworthy to be here. And he says that my grace covers you.
Amen.
And my grace sustains you. I just put a note this past week on my computer that says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Because he is sufficient for me. I say, Lord, I'm weak. I can't do this, Lord. He says, but I am strong.
Amen.
Lord, I hurt. Lord, I don't want to do this anymore. I hurt. He says, but I am your comforter.
Mm-hmm.
And we could go on and on and on and say, I am. And he says, but I am. Because he is the I am.
Yes, he is.
And he fills in everything that we try to put there, he fills it in greater. So when we can learn to look at our situation and look at what he is in our situation, nothing we can come up with can match what he is in our situation. He died for us. He gave his blood for us. And what we did this morning, remember what he did for us.
Yes.
So that's why I ask you, where's your mouth? Or what's your mouth? So when you, it's not just what you say, it's what you wear. It's what comes out your mouth. When you say his name, watch your mouth.
Yes.
I encourage you to find when you find somebody that will keep you accountable to what you do. Find an accountability partner. Find somebody that you can ask and say, am I being ugly? Some people, and I'm one, and I'm working on it, and I've gotten better. Some people, this is the way they talk, is their face. My daughter is the world's worst, and she deals with people all the time, but this is the way she talks, is her face. Your face, you don't have to say anything. Well, what did you just show? Was that God's glory?
No.
Rolling your eyes. That's a good one. That one gets me. And did you know you can have attitudes over the phone? Big time. You can have attitudes over the phone, and not even raising your voice, just the way you talk. I mean, but all of this, and what's really bad is you may not think the person on the other end of the phone knows who you are, but a lot of times they do, and you're still reflecting God's glory. So you need we need to make a real conscious effort to realize that, and realize that, everything we do Are we wearing God's name right? Are we taking it in vain? Which are we doing? I hope that this shed a new light for you on this commandment, because it did for me. It really opened up my eyes last night, because I don't know about Deacon Holmes, but when I called him, I was like, I got something for you. And I mean, I was just like, ooh. So it was exciting. I hope it encouraged you.
Yeah.
Find someone to sharpen you. Find
Yes.
someone, just if you get a nugget, find somebody, to sharpen you. It's what we're supposed to do. Iron sharpens iron.
Yes.
I don't want any of us to be accountable that day for something we did that Pastor or I didn't tell you. Well, pray for you, and I'm going to play a song. If there's anyone under the sound of my voice that does not have a personal relationship with Christ, I ask you during the song, as the song plays, to raise your hand. If everybody will stand, please. Lord, most gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we thank you for your word. Lord, we thank you for your sacrifice. We thank you, Lord, for everything that you did for us, Lord. Lord, I pray that we'll continue, make a change, Lord, just change and be able to begin to wear your name right, Lord, to watch our mouths, Lord, and to not say your name in vain, Lord, just to make changes, God. God, I pray if there is anyone in this building, Lord, that does not know you as the personal Lord and Savior, that you will just come into their heart, Lord, just step out to them. Lord, we need you in our life, Lord. We need you to change every facet of our life. Just come in and help us to make you our priority in our life, Lord. Lord, help us just to make changes that we need. Lord, help us to surrender everything to you, Lord. Everything. Not to hold back any little pieces of our life, Lord. Not to try to be things to all people, Lord, but to be all to you, Lord. God, you are all for us. Now help us to be all for you, Lord. All that you've called us to be, everything that you had planned for our lives. Lord, we thank you. Lord, I just thank you for each person that was here this morning. I pray that you will meet each and every need in each and every household. Lord, we love you and we praise your name, Lord, and we extol you. Lord, I thank you for the opportunity to stand before this house this morning, Lord. I give you all the glory. Lord, I just thank you for everything. Lord, I pray that you will watch each person as they go home today, Lord. Protect them, Lord. Give them rest. Lord, just watch over Pastor and Chris as they come home, Lord. And safety as they come home. Lord, we pray over our offering this morning, Lord. We just pray that each person, Lord, will be blessed for what they give. Lord, we just bring it to your house, Lord, to be used for your service, Lord, to go out into the community, Lord, just to do your will, Lord. May your will be done in this ministry and in this house, Lord. Bless each household. All of these things I pray for in the precious name of Jesus, our Lord and Savior. And the church said, Amen. Thank you, each and every one of y'all, for coming. And y'all please have a blessed day. Yes, and Deacon Holmes has the offering. I just prayed over that you will bring your offerings up. Please don't forget about the 18th. We will be leaving. We'll have a short service that morning and we will be leaving. Yes, Saturday is Cupcakes and Hugs. We will meet at the senior citizen, across on the maternity ward side. We will meet at 10:30 because we want to get together and pray. So we'll start at 11. Please be there by 10:30. The 18th is when we will go to South Carolina. We will not be as late getting back because it's at 4. But I have a couple of names on the list. If you will be able to go, please let me know. Okay. And y'all have a blessed day.
Right. Thanks.
You're smiling at me. Oh, that's what's bringing us.
I was in training.
Hey, baby girl. Hey, you.
Somebody will be on my head.
Let me get up and go real quick.
Yeah, we can do it quick.
Y'all have a good day. Be safe. Tell your wife hello.
See that word.
Oh, okay. Well, tell her hey.